Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folarin. My guest this morning is Mr. Ademola Adegoke, and thank you very much for coming on.
Good morning, Iyori, and good morning, viewers at home.
Indeed, this is, there's so much going on out there. The security issue is a big deal, and that's that. There are other things. The other thing is on the political scene, and the president, as it were, throwing his weight behind aggrieved APC members who wished to pursue the matter of whatever the disagreement was with the party up to the courts. As you recall, the chairman had been, generally directing that, look, that's not very party-like. These are things that must be sorted out within the party domestically. But the president has, indicated that indeed the party can be sued by its members. First of all, there are those who cast this in the light of overruling, disagreeing with, and all that kind of a thing. And here we are in an election year, just as it were, last corner before. In fact, we're in the middle of full-blown campaigns. What do you think of this situation here? Kudos to Mr. President for coming out, and there's a sense in which I think everything is being done to make sure there's no split in the party.
Yeah, we can say that about the president's move, but I want to say that, I have tried to read that report. Not much was said of the context in which the president spoke. And so without the benefit of hindsight about the president's mind in making that declaration.
But it's plain enough.
No, it's plain. No, because this is it. Yes, the aggrieved, anybody has the right to go to court. Anybody at all has the right to go to court. But then there is a process.
Yes.
So the question that we will ask is, has the process been duly followed? There is I want to believe that every party has its own internal, inbuilt conflict resolution procedure.
Which was the recommendation of the chairman all along? The very sentiments you are expressing are what has been expressed, that we have mechanisms.
So there are mechanisms. And if a party or any institution at all cannot respect its own laid-down procedure, it's just too bad for the system.
That's on the one hand. On the other, maybe and here I'm being speculative, as you said, one doesn't know the context, but there are those who will believe that, sometimes the situation is such that people are looking for an external prosecutor. Bring someone totally different into the matter, because, quite frankly, I can't be sure that I will get a fair hearing or justice from within my organization, whatever that organization happens to be. And those people, that's part of the reason why they probably went to court in the first place. This would have been seen as indiscipline, this would have seen as breaking ranks or whatever, because, as you said, there are clear laid out procedures. But the court is above all of that. And these people are saying, sorry, no disrespect, not that I heard them say that, but I want to go for the highest court of the land so that when it is pronounced upon, we shall know that that is indeed the cause of justice. It seems to me they didn't think they could get justice within the party, and that's why they went out and broke ranks. And the president seems to be saying, let them go and test it.
Yeah, well, that could be like you said, we are all just being speculative.
Exactly. Very.
That could be the stand of the president. The president could be saying, well, if anybody, the party has done, the party, what is important in an issue like this is the party to ensure that it has adhered to the principle of equity, fairness, and justice to all. So to that extent, the president is right that if we have done the right thing, and we are sure of what we have done, because at the end of the day, what the court is going to do, the court is going to weigh the complainant's grievances against the party's own rules and procedure. Whether the
that
party,
they subscribe to by virtue of their membership.
So if you complain to the court, if the party has done the right thing, when the court looks at the merit of your case and the court, it says that the party has actually not, flouted its own law. A verdict of how is it called in the law? No case omission or whatever. Maybe returned by the judge.
And then there will be no further commentary in that it has been decided at the highest level in the circumstances.
Well, even at that, if an aggrieved person takes the party to, say, High Court, and he feels he hasn't gotten justice from the High Court, he still goes to a court of appellate jurisdiction, which is the first court of appellate jurisdiction in this instance is the appeal court. He goes to the appeal court. If he still feels that he has not gotten the desired justice, even in the appeal court, and he goes to the highest court in the land,
and
the Supreme Court.
And none of this aids party unity.
None
of this, because you see,
none aids party question.
Besides the point that no doubt they'll be, giving themselves homilies, but again, they probably wouldn't want this kind of a thing to catch on, where there's an issue, and then you go outside. They wouldn't like it to catch on, but I suppose this matter is so deeply felt by those people that they were hard done by. I think that's the big problem. A number of them feel that, and the political. It is said that politicians have a way of, sorting themselves out, balancing their political books. Debit here, credit there, and everything will be okay. Sometimes you hear the term compensation. When a person, is prevailed upon and is agreeable, then you hear of compensation. But for whatever reason, these people thought that there wasn't any stock in all of that. But I understand that someone else is on the phone. Mr. George, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for calling in.
To your guest.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, I agree with Mr. Adegoke that one needs to understand the context from which the president is speaking. Because the chairman of the party, what he said was an advice. He didn't say, if you go to court, we are going to deal with you, we are going to do this or that to you.
No.
He only advised them that in their own interest and in the interest of the progress of the party, do not take matters like this to the court. But the president, as the father of all, doesn't want to be seen as someone who is encroaching on the rights of people. He is only saying it that where the right exists there, you can do that if you are not satisfied with all the channels we have put in place in the party. So I don't see it as out of place. The statement is not out of place. But a wise party man, in my view, should rather explore the mechanism in the party to address his grievances rather than going to court.
Indeed.
There is a saying in Yoruba land, which somebody interpreted to me, that two friends who have one reason or the other to take each other to court cannot come back and become friends again.
Yes.
If you are a member of a political party and you have reason to drag this same party to court, and you want to use that same platform to achieve one aim or the other, it looks contradicting in the implementation of principles. That is the way I also see it. So the advice that the president is giving is relative. It is not cast on stone. He cannot say, because you did not get your nomination as you wanted, you have to go to court. What about the implications, both to you and the party itself? So it calls for a clear understanding, both the statement the chairman made and that which the president is making.
Exactly.
It's in the interest of the party man not to drag his own party into litigation.
All right,
Thank
then.
you.
Thank you very much, Mr. George, for calling in. Indeed, everything he says is so logical. But oftentimes, yeah, of course, you know, because he also said he agreed with, you know, your position too on the matter. But this is one of those things where, as both of you have also said, the context, you know, is not quite known, but cohesion, no doubt, must be behind the back of everybody's mind. Now, this whole point about if you go through this, because it's politics, the whole everything, and in any case, these people they really want to serve. It's about service. Can we just stay on the straight and narrow? Let's go by the textbook. So it's about service. No matter what anybody else says, politicians are all about. So why are you now taking your party to court might be the question. And since they've been allowed to, well, they've been encouraged that, look, let it be. If that is what you want, so be it. Mr. Johnson was careful to point out that the chairman never said, you know, for fear of this sanction being visited on you. He never said that. But he was just saying that there are procedures. It's not the thing to do. But these people have said, it is the thing we will do. They've taken over. So President Buhari, it's not really so much the chairman, but the National Working Committee. Yes. But you know, when headline casters grab hold of it, they now personalized it to Oshiomhole. One paper says Buhari faults Oshiomhole. Another one says Buhari cautions Oshiomhole. Another one says Buhari overrules Oshiomhole. Well, so there you go. These kind of things will be said. But I suppose it's better to get these things out of the way now. Rather than have grievance. You have aggrieved people. It was President Obasanjo who referred to a piece of the graveyard, you know, in the past. I think that is part of the problem. Otherwise, you just have someone in the party that you can't really be sure. You know, we don't talk really now about principles so much, about what it is you're really going to do. That's not what we talk about. Somebody else coming in. Yakub Ndokwemo, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in.
And then good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Good morning.
I'm very happy that you brought this topic again. Why am I saying that? One of the topic, your sister in the studio before, I mean your few, when they are issuing the paper, I wanted to call to correct one impression that Sister Yeni had that time, but I couldn't get through. When she says that she don't know the kind of party is this. Mr. President says something, and then the chairman of the party says something else. Now, Mr. George, I've said it all. You see, Mr. President, this is what we need. We want Mr. President to be doing from the beginning of this party, to play the father role, to play the leadership role, to play the politics, because it has leaving the party for people to play before. Now, that is where we got ourselves into this kind of situation. Now, Adam Oshiomhole did not say anybody not to go to court. He was trying to telling them that instead of you going to court, there's a party mechanism on ground to resolve any issue that you have. As the last caller rightly said, if you take me to court, at the end of the day, either you win the court or I won in the court. You cannot expect me coming back from the court and still beating and not become a friend of yours. It cannot possible, because in the first instance, we have to reset to our matter at home. Rather than taking me to court, I spend money, you spend money, I waste my time, you waste your time as well. And then you are not coming back, and then we still become a friend. It cannot happen. Now, Mr. President said something that if you have any grievances, if the party cannot be able to resolve it, and then they resolve it, and then you still not agree with the party mechanism, you have the right to go to court. And then when you get to court, whatever the court decides, it's good to be, because Mr. President says there was a time some people in the party want the party time elongation for the people that in the MRT of the party then. Mr. President come out and telling them, instead of you to become a garrison commander in the party, you continue in the party chairman hierarchy and whatever you are in the party. We have to go to election. This is what is good for the party. Instead of us to elongate your time, at the end of the day, we go into election, general election, as case may be, we want the election, and then the opposition charge us to court, and then they defeat us in the court, and then what are we talking about? Mr. President has done it again. Kudos to Mr. President. This is what we need Mr. President to be keeping doing until we succeed. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Yakub.
I think in this whole issue, we need a serious examination of what a party is, what a political party is. And I'm reminded of the definition of a political party by an English philosopher and essayist, Edmund Burke. He says, it's a group of men united by their joint endeavors for promoting national interest based on some agreed principles. Based on some principles they are all agreed to. Based on some principles. You know, one, we say a group of men united by their joint endeavors for promoting national interest based on some principles they are all agreed to. Now, the question, we do a contextual analysis of that definition.
And that definition actually works for even societies or clubs. Once you are a member, you by default have subscribed
to
their regulations.
Yeah, to some principles. Now, but the question that arises from that definition is, one, what is the motive of some of these party members before joining? Is it, as Edmund Burke says, for promoting national interest or for promoting personal interest? If it is national interest, if it is not selfish interest, like you mentioned, yeah, it's all about service. If I want to serve, and the platform through which I say I want to serve is not offering me, that chance to serve, and I know it's all about service, it's not about myself. I think there is a level to which I want to, push or to force myself on the party.
If it is service.
If it is service.
But you see, the truth is, as you know, there is no politician that will agree that it is anything less than that service. But that while in that quest, I mean, how can anybody, we talk about it, we all think we know those that are that way and those that are not, and even then you could accuse us of being judgmental, how do you know? But everybody's going to say, come on, I'm in there to serve. Let me come back so that you can continue on the point. Okay. Reverend Dominic has come on the line. Good morning, Reverend Dominic.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, your guest.
Indeed.
Good morning. Good morning,
Reverend Dominic.
Let me start from the definition of a political party you define now by a great philosopher. Our own system here and our politicians in this nation have defined all that, definition. They have defined
segment by segment.
Yeah, by attitude, by their character, by what they pursue. I don't think any politician in Nigeria, to my own opinion, I may be wrong, has anything called national interest. If there's national interest, the way we have gone through this, what we call primaries last 2-3 months, have shown that nobody has national interest. I was discussing with Yori in this platform, we're talking about when they say indirect and direct primaries. I told the indirect primaries, it depends on the person who wear the shoe. Direct primaries depend on the person who also the shoe is on the other leg. If direct primaries suits you, it's democracy in action. If indirect suits you, it's democracy in action. So where is national interest? To just make everything simple, Yori, the statement of Mr. President is this: you cannot beat a child and say he will not cry.
Indeed.
There are a lot of cry and who in APC. If going to court will suit your pain and quench your tears, so be it, so we can have this piece of graveyard. So, Mr. President, I'm not saying anything out of place. And the chairman himself, like I told you, Olushimana will not succeed in this system. If it's in America or UK, you have a chairman who say, let's play by the rules. But in Nigeria here, we have the chairman, we have the chairman, the governors, who are the real chairmen. Let me use that word. This one is a pseudo chairman. If you don't play along with them, nothing works. But I want to appeal to Nigerians and the APC and PDP. Let us put Nigeria first. Because after the election of 2019, Nigeria will remain. Thank
Indeed.
you.
Thank you very much for calling in, because tempers were frayed. Remember, if you go back to the primary times that the Reverend Dominic was referring to, the chairman had cause to come out and speak quite strongly, because it's all about a different kind of a party. Was talking about, on his watch, certain things would not happen, which a lot of people would have seen and agreed with. That, yeah, that's the way things should be. People have even called into the program and said that, look, this is what, if this stance had been the situation with APC from the beginning, we would have come a lot farther down the road. But in the process, maybe a lot of egos were bruised. And after all, they are politicians, it's about service, but they also have their own egos too. Which politician doesn't have his ego? So I think, as a lot of people are now saying, Mr. President seeing that it's a ticking time bomb if we don't allow that, that valve of let them go, let it be pronounced upon. But there still is the problem and the caveat that you pointed out, Mr. George pointed out. But how do you now come back from that exercise and reintegrate yourself into the party and be seen as a comrade? Because at the drop of a hat, any bunch of comrades could now head out to the courts.
You see, I was saying that we need a total re-examination of our party system.
Of the party system generally.
Yes, generally.
Let's come back for Dr. Paul in Akure wants to join the conversation. Okay. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, I'd like to contribute to the program that is ongoing.
Please go ahead. You're on air right now. We are ready for you. You are on air.
All right, thank you. I would like to, first of all, I acknowledge the views of those that have called in earlier. And my take on it is that both the president and the national chairman have not contradicted each other. Just as the earlier caller said.
Yes, Mr. George.
But there's something I'd like to draw our attention to. There is this view that when you go to court, you only get justice from the court. Even the Chief Justice of the Federation acknowledged that recently, while he was admonishing a group. You get justice from the court, but you do not get settlement necessarily. and based on that, the president is saying go to court if you are still feeling aggrieved. The chairman is saying do not go to court, apply party mechanisms, go play by the rules. And I think both of them have addressed the issues as further. And especially reacting to the last caller before I'm calling out. Nigerians don't like defeat. They always want to be there.
Okay.
They want to be relevant at all times. It doesn't matter whatever happens. They don't take the views of others into consideration. So I expect that we should learn to take defeat. We should not always expect to win all the time. The governors and the House of Assembly members, most of them have entrenched interest. They have an axe to grind. They all want to field their candidates, where they themselves have served and exhausted their tenure. So we should all place the nation first. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Dr. Paul. We'll go on a quick break. Don't go anywhere, please. We'll be right back and we'll continue taking your calls. Okay, so welcome back, and just to remind you, those who need reminding, that over in Osun State, they'll be inaugurating a new governor. Ogbeni Aregbesola will be handing over to Boyega Oyetola. And, of course, TVC News we'll go there when the time comes. No doubt you'll hear about it. But right now we're looking at within the party and what it means when members go to court. We talked about fractionalization of the party. People have commented that clearly people don't have, this public spirit of service. Well, no doubt they themselves will probably have one or two things to say about that. But at the end of the day, if we're just thinking about it now, I like, who was it? Was it Dr. Paul who said that he referred to, you can go to court for justice, but rarely will you get settlement there.
Settlement, yeah.
Yeah, because there's nowhere else to go. Even after the Supreme Court, there's nowhere else to go. It might be justice, but it might not be settlement. Now, I imagine that I like that expression, and thank you again, Dr. Paul. Settlement is going to be very important in a political party. It's not a social club. You need unity of purpose. And you can't afford for this kind of a thing to spread.
Yes, I stopped at the point of saying that we need a total re-examination of our political system, the party system that we have, the party system. And in doing that, we will also look at what it's supposed to be. I want to cast my mind back to the Second Republic.
You're taking us into the classroom. That's what you when you want to go into the classical,
classical.
which is not going to work. It doesn't work here. Dominic has pointed it out. It has to.
It has to. But if we want to get our hearts right.
But it's not going to happen in the next 3 months.
I give you an example. You see, all I know is that
all these classical models, our people, the practitioners, they know those classical models. Too many of them have degrees in political science.
No one comes to a party and dictates to the party what he wants. No one does that. No one comes to the party and dictates to the party that it's either I get this or nothing, or the house comes down. And this is what we are seeing presently, that if I don't get what I want in the party, the house comes down.
Either that or you might have the Dr. Bukola Saraki kind of a model, where because he said he was disappointed, this is not our agreement, before he finally now had to leave the party, he could have taken them to court as well, perhaps. I don't know.
It still falls in line with either I get what I want or the house comes down. Way back in Second Republic, 1979.
You see, when you put it like that, when you put it like that, it's either I get what I want or
the house comes down.
The roof will cave in. That is one. But don't forget that politicians are oftentimes making deals, arriving at agreements. And that thing that lawyers call consideration.
Yeah.
So this consideration would have been put forward for this, and then when push comes to shove, as often happens in a political situation, sorry, your name is not on the list anymore. He says, what? My name? Whose name is not on the list? I'm just imagining.
Okay. To that, if you feel if you lose, that's another side of it. That's another side of it. But probably I will come back to that.
Yes.
But let me finish, my thought flow, which I was talking about.
Sorry, sir. Get the thought flow together well, because in the middle, Ibrahim has called in. Mr. Ibrahim has called in from Mina in Niger State. I'm so sorry, but you understand.
Okay.
Good morning, Alhaji Ibrahim.
Good morning, Uncle Nyori.
Good morning, sir.
And good morning,
Mr. Adegoke.
Mr. Adegoke.
Good morning.
I really believe on what you said, that the political parties need to be re-examined. And sometimes we undermine ourselves. How can a political party say that people should come and vie for positions, while the party knows that they have a kind of automatic ticket for some of their members? Imagine in my state, 2 senatorial zones, there are 2 automatic tickets there, and they allow the members, about 16 people, to buy forms.
You see?
That is bad enough.
After spending their money for campaigns, after party primaries, people won election, and you now come to tell these same party members that you have automatic tickets for the sitting senators. And you are now telling the members that they have a system put in place to resolve grievances. Mr. Yori, let's say the truth. How do you think these grievances can be solved? In fact, what Mr. President is saying is true. There is no any system that will allow this. There wouldn't be progress. So allow these aggrieved members to go to court and get justice, because in this situation there is no justice. This is my take. That's why I believe with Mr. Adegoke, we need to think and restructure these political parties.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in, Ibrahim from Minna in Niger State. But this time I'm going to let you finish your train of thought. But this whole matter of re-examining the political party structures in our beloved Nigeria, you know, it's not happening in the next 3 months. So.
It will not. But if things must work the way they should, we need to. I mean,
we can only be preaching. Because those politicians are quite, we often make fun of them or deride them, you know, unconsciously, but a lot of them are well-read, a lot of them are politically savvy, a lot of them have degrees in political science, a lot of them are students of the law, students of jurisprudence, so they know what you're about to say. They took it in A-level government, went on to take a degree in political science, but they still know that that is not going to get you anywhere in this beloved country. And so they're going about all of these. Look at what Alhaji Ibrahim in Minna said. Look, people came in and bought forms, spent money, invested money, and then it didn't work out. They're going to feel bad because somebody encouraged them.
Yes, political parties, you know, we were talking about re-examination.
Remember when Abiola said he went to IBB and said, is there a vacancy? And IBB said, go ahead, Moshood.
Yes, you see, I think the fault is on either side, you know, on both sides. Political parties need to come clean, you know, of their intentions. You know, you don't, when you know you are going to direction A, you don't tell your members that, you know, you are going to B or C. Exactly. Because the point is this: if you know, I want to believe that probably if a party member knows, if the party comes clean with him and tells him, I mean, there is no vacancy, please.
That there are 2 automatic tickets.
He has
Ibrahim said 16 people were vying for an office that did not exist.
Such a party member or such a party member now has the option of either, you know, agreeing to the party position, or it seeks his fortune elsewhere. You know, and he, you know, peacefully exits and goes elsewhere to, you know, seek.
Exactly. Because this line of argument that you are pursuing, if it were a police case, this is the one the police will be looking to charge somebody with
false declaration or
something like that. You know, so because you led him on to believe that it was a viable option, what he was pursuing, only for him to see that, there's nothing going here. So you now come and tell me that the place is blocked. Maybe Idris in Mokwa, in Niger State, maybe he will, what is your comment, sir? Good morning, Mr. Idris.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Good morning.
Yes, sir, good morning.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my contribution for this discussion is that our politicians, both the party chairman and others, have problems. And the biggest problem we are having is selfish interest. That's what is killing us. Our politicians always want to score their goal, always want to get what they want, forget we about the masses. And we always elect them for our own good, not for their own selfish reasons. So the problem is that our politicians are greedy and they have selfish, and even the party leaders, they are not straightforward. That is all the problem about all this that's happening.
So Idris, what do you think about the whole conversation about Mr. President now saying, look, if anybody wants to go to court, let him not be prevented?
What Mr. President said is right.
Please continue. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your call. And, you know, again, this is like people have said, the president has behaved like an elder. But then somebody, I think maybe the caller just before Dr. Paul had been at pains to say, but Oshiomhole, somebody said that actually the two of them
they are on the same page.
Yes, they're on the same page on this actually, because there still is this problem of coming back. And you are going to go, look at what, for instance, Idris has just said, and Ibrahim before him, and other people, that sometimes there's no sincerity of purpose. And I don't know why it has to be like that in politics. I don't know if it's a Nigerian thing, I don't know if it's a global thing, but you've got to, everybody has to agree to the rules of the game.
It couldn't have been, it's not a global thing, it's a Nigerian thing. And it has not always been this way. I was
honor, because it's all about honor.
It has not always been this way. The party system that I grew up to know, the party system that I grew up to know was a party system in which every member, submitted him or herself that was the kind of party system I grew up to know. And I was going to cite the case of 1979. Reverend Archdeacon Alayande was principal to Bola Ige. And Bola Ige contested with him for the governorship of Oyo State under UPN. Bola Ige defeated him, a student defeating his principal. Archdeacon Alayande did not say because of that, the roof must come down. He submitted, as a loyal party man, he submitted himself, to the party position, and he remained a party elder. So.
Yeah, but maybe the circumstances, because we're getting some other feedback.
No.
They were level. They were level then.
We have talked about.
Yes, they were level then. We're hearing some indications that maybe the whole ground no level, as Idris and Ibrahim have explained.
And I have said that both sides, the party and the members, have their faults.
Okay. Mr. Adebayo in Ikeja, thank you for holding on. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
My contribution to this situation
Are you still there, Mr. Adebayo?
The situation is that we went to bring this form of democracy.
Okay.
But we didn't pack everything that we should bring along with it.
We didn't bring all the accessories.
One thing is that in what we went to bring for ourselves here,
please continue, sir. Don't wait to listen to yourself.
It is a party affair. I will just give only one example now.
Okay.
It was a party man, one Michael Heseltine in London there, who faced the Tigris woman, the woman that was the head of the government then, and that known all over the world as a very tough person. That was Margaret Thatcher. It was a single person in the party that faced her. Michael Heseltine faced her in something like that was just like a storm in a teacup. And that was what saw Thatcher, that was known all over the world as a tough woman. As this. But the thing is, when the come to come, the party said Thatcher should just go. She had to succumb to the party overnight, when there was still a referendum between them in the party, and she went to France to go and attend this their EU meeting and all that. When she was confronted, she was still boasting that She will not be able to do anything. She will show that she's in charge and all that and all that. By the time she came back, the party took a decision overnight and said an election, just like in our own situation here, an election, a very important election is approaching. And they thought that if the party was still going on that, their referendum and all that, they would be going, they would be separating and separating. And so they said that was what brought that young man who was a bank clerk here to become prime minister in London.
Yes.
He didn't know anything. It was overnight. In the morning, they just went and said Thatcher should go and report to the Queen. And that was all. That was it. It was the party.
You're right. You're right.
The party
So the point you are making, sir, the point you are making is that we brought democracy, as you said. We went and brought it here. We didn't bring any of its accessories at all. The result is that democracy is not working because it always comes with accessories.
It is a party affair. Democracy is a party affair.
But you see, they have the institutions. That's another thing that various commentators have told us. With these institutions, full-grown, well-grown, entrenched, that is what you recall just now, that Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister Thatcher, just turned around and said, oh, is that what the party is saying? I'm out. Thank you very much for calling in. And this brings it back very nicely into what the position that you were at, which is that let's look at what these parties are about.
We need to look at, you see, and looking at for me, a political party is not just a vehicle, for acquisition of political power. It goes beyond that. It's a gathering of like-minded men and women.
But you forget that
who believe in a cause.
APC does not contain like-minded men and women because of the special circumstances.
And that is the problem. And you see, what the foundation of any party, it's the ideology it's subscribed to. Maybe comprehensively espoused in its manifesto.
Yes.
If you ask, an average member of APC or PDP or any other party in Nigeria today, what is your party manifesto? Not many will be able to tell you this is our manifesto. And that is why it has been so difficult, to differentiate party A from party B. And that is why it is also very easy for cross-carpeting. It is very easy for our politicians to engage in, endless cross-carpeting.
Okay. So is that about the party? It's about us. It's about Mr. Adebayo.
No, it's about the party too.
Who said that? When you bring these things, well, unless I could say to Mr. Adebayo that, well, maybe we went and brought democracy, as he put it. We were thinking global. But we've got to act local. And I think you're seeing the act local part.
No.
It's
not working.
You don't like that one. Mr. Adewale in Yaba, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for holding on.
I'm okay. Please, can you allow me to just contribute a little?
Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I hope our president, I'm an ardent supporter of President Buhari, though I'm not a party man. But in trying to be fair, in his own eyes, I hope the president is not pulling down this party. In democracy, party needs to be supreme. Yes, there is a room. He said it in the statement that they decided to go 3 options: direct, indirect, or consensus. So what is wrong? If the party fails for consensus sake, some people need to be compensated. Yeah, truly they bought tickets, but that is one of the reasons they can go to the appeal and collectively demand for their money or demand for other compensations.
Okay.
This is still within the party to solve. It's a party issue. It shouldn't go to court. They have very few time left to prepare for elections. Yes. I hope we will not be surprised if we think everything is in the kitty and we allow little things like this to take away. Our only hope is that this country turn around, because that is how we can benefit. But if everything went away, then I hope it won't go that way.
No,
Thank
we
you,
hope.
sir.
Thank you very much for calling in. That's another point. Because if they were looking for creative solutions, I don't know that APC will agree with that particular kind of a creative solution. Look, okay, we took money from so many people. Come and take your money back. It's not going to happen.
No, if you are a true party man, I think every party always has a way of rewarding and compensating its loyal members. I
said it.
Its loyal members. There are
long-suffering party men,
yes,
I imagine, on both the APC side, on the PDP side, where you are told to forget this whole idea, but you'll be duly remembered, if not compensated.
World over, that is done.
That's the way it is.
The world over, that is the way it is. If you are a true party loyalist, the party always has a way to safeguard your interest. But you must also have been seen to have stood with the party through thick and thin. But if you are such a party man that wants to dictate your own terms to the party, and that the party either agrees to your terms or everything comes down, you can't. The party, at the end of the day, when the party goes into ruins, what do you have in your hands?
God forbid. Exactly. I agree. I understand. I hear you. And, we're not English. We're not American. So when our elders speak, they speak the way they speak, and you're supposed to interpret it. Might we not speculatively say that, well, if they've spoken to these guys, the guy who just finished speaking, Mr. Adewale, Mr. Adewale before him, there's party supremacy. These people say no.
Party supremacy, party discipline.
Now, when the president has now said, okay, if you want to go, go, might that not be, it's possible for us to interpret it in a cultural way. And I wouldn't, can you say you can rule it out entirely that these people might come around and say that, you know what, following Mr. President is the only reasonable one among everybody. He's a father, he wants to be fair. We've withdrawn everything because of Mr. President. That is a possible creative look at the whole thing, because he's now let them, and everybody is saying it's well done. He's on the same page with Oshiomhole, but you taking the party out to the court, and you've made the point earlier. You want to now come back in and be a comrade. When it didn't go well with you, you jettisoned all our structures. You don't believe in what we believe in, so we're not cut of the same cloth. That's a problem.
I started by saying that we need to really understand the context in which the president spoke, because it might just be that, okay, maybe we've spoken to these people, they are not going to budge. So whatever they want to do, let's leave them. By the time they go and come back, then we see. So
it's possible. But let me quickly squeeze in Idi. Did I get that right? Is it Idi calling in from Asaba?
Eugene from here.
Eugene. Oh, I'm so sorry, Eugene. Good morning, Eugene.
Yeah, good morning.
Your name was told to me in a very funny way, but good morning.
Eugene coming from Asaba. Let us sit anyway,
yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Uncle Yuri.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir. I enjoy your program this morning.
Very kind.
So my contribution is this, and what the decision taken by the president was a welcome one, because when we are in a party where it's differences by the group, I think the overall overseer of the party, which is Comrade, and that is the President Muhammad Buhari, he has the final veto to overcome the event. And that this is going to set aside all agreed group to make their own contribution in the coming 2000 general election. And all agreed groups should be, handled with fair and not oppression, because what the party with the Comrade Adam Osoni was really doing, because I was a major partaker in the primary that characterizes this agreed and so voluntarily, mostly in the legacy. I was even deprived in the process, so to carry out my legitimate right in the process.
Yeah.
And which personally, I was even agreed. I was not happy because I was oppressed by so-called the other group, the working committee Even though when you're in a situation, even you are down situation, you want a consensus candidate, you should make us know.
Eugene, we've run out of time. I really beg your pardon. We've completely run out of time. But thank you very much. Appreciate your contribution to the conversation. And so we'll have to leave it and see. But I wouldn't be surprised if you were to hear in the news that the aggrieved members have been prevailed upon and they voluntarily have said they don't want again. Otherwise, it's not the best of ideas.
It is not.
It's not the best of ideas.
It is not. I think, you know, no matter what, even though we are saying that things are not turning out the way they should be here, we need to realize that for our democracy to grow, things must be done the way they are supposed to do, to be done rather, the way they are supposed to be done. Otherwise, we will just, you know, we will just be groping in the dark for direction.
I think we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Ademola Adegoke, Communications Consultant. Appreciate your views. And also thanks to you out there for contributing to the conversation and giving us some sort of perspective on this whole matter. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.